Kano Emirate, one of Nigeria's most illustrious traditional institutions, is once again embroiled in political turbulence. The recent events involving the blockade of the palace of the Emir of Kano by heavy security forces have reignited debate over the role and independence of traditional rulers in a politically charged Nigeria. The images of armed personnel surrounding the ancient palace, otherwise referred to as Gidan Rumfa, a structure emblematic of Kano's rich heritage, has left many wondering as to whether this marks the beginning to an end of the reign of Muhammadu Sanusi II, who was declared by the Kano state government as Emir, and whether this is history about to repeat itself. But to grasp the depth of this crisis, it is important to revisit the Emirate's storied past and its uneasy relationship with politics, especially during the reigns of prominent leaders like Emir Muhammadu Sanusi I, Abubakar Rimi, and Umar al-Rashid. The Sanusi family is no stranger to palace intrigues and political machinations. Emir Muhammadu Sanusi I, the grandfather of the current Emir, faced a similar storm during his reign in the mid-20th century. Appointed in 1954, Sanusi I was a modernizer pushing for reforms in education, administration, and economic development. However, his progressive ideas clashed with conservative forces within the Emirate and the regional government led by Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto. But the downfall of Muhammadu Sanusi I was as dramatic as it was destructive. Accused of financial mismanagement and political overreach, he was forced to abdicate in 1963, exiled to Azare in Bauchi State, where he lived the rest of his life. The events leading to his ouster revealed the precarious balance between traditional authority and the political elite. And this phenomenon will go on to set a precedent that traditional rulers in Nigeria, no matter how powerful, were not immune to the dictates of Nigerian politicians. But a very important side of the Emirate's history happened during the Abubakar Rimi era, which perhaps marks the beginning of erosion of the Emirate's power. Abubakar Rimi, a radical and charismatic governor under the People's Redemption Party (PRP), sought to redefine the role of traditional institutions in governance. Rimi believed that emirs wielded too much influence and represented a feudal past incompatible with Nigeria's democratic aspirations. In 1981, he launched a sweeping reform that effectively reduced the Emirate's powers, dividing Kano into smaller emirates, thus diluting the authority of Emir Ado Bayero, Sanusi Lamido's predecessor and mentor. This move sparked widespread protest, with many accusing Rimi of undermining Kano's cultural heritage for political gain. While Bayero managed to weather the storm and eventually regain some of his authority, the episode underscored again the fragility of the Emirate's position in the face of political ambition. Then came the transition to the reign of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, otherwise referred to as Muhammadu Sanusi II, who has often been viewed as a controversial monarch in modern times. Sanusi's ascension to the throne in 2014 was itself a contentious affair. A former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi II was known for his outspoken nature and reformist ideas. He had made headlines for exposing corruption in the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, a move that earned him both admirers and powerful enemies. His emergence as Emir of Kano was seen by many as a political decision, with the then governor Rabiu Gwangwaso reportedly favoring his candidacy to spite his political rival Kano. As Emir, Sanusi II quickly became a polarizing figure. His criticisms of government policies, particularly on economic and social issues, drew the rage of many political elites. He highlighted issues such as poverty, education, and gender inequality, earning applause from progressives but angering conservative elements within Kano and beyond. Ganduje, who succeeded Kwankwaso as governor, found himself at odds with an emir who was unafraid to speak truth to power. The turning point came in 2019 when Ganduje, embroiled in an alleged bribery scandal, moved to clip Sanusi's wings by creating 4 new emirates in Kano. The decision effectively reduced Sanusi's domain to a fraction of its former glory, a clear message that the emir's influence could be curtailed. Sanusi's public criticisms of the governor only deepened the rift, setting the stage for the current crisis. Today, critics argue that Governor Ganduje's actions against Sanusi II bear an uncanny resemblance to Rimi's tactics. Ganduje's establishment of additional emirates in Kano in 2019, ostensibly to bring governance closer to the people, was widely interpreted as a strategy to diminish Sanusi's influence. But a major concern for many is whether the recent palace blockade is a precursor to another ouster. The blockade of Sanusi's palace by security forces in December 2024 has sparked widespread speculation about his future. Officially, the heavy security presence was described as a precautionary measure, but many believe it is part of a larger scheme to dethrone the emir, as the optics are strikingly similar to the events leading to the ouster of Muhammadu Sanusi I, a monarch who became increasingly isolated, accused of overstepping his bounds, and eventually facing the full weight of political power in 1963. Also, while critics of Ganduje argue that his actions are motivated by personal vendetta rather than genuine governance concerns, and pointing to Sanusi II's persistent criticisms of Ganduje's administration, particularly on issues of corruption and governance, supporters of the former governor, on the other hand, argue that Sanusi has politicized his role as emir, violating the traditional neutrality expected of such a revered position. The unfolding drama in Kano raises broader questions about the role of traditional rulers in a modern democracy. Should emirs and other traditional leaders remain ceremonial figureheads, or do they have a moral duty to speak out on issues affecting their people? Sanusi II's case highlights the tension between these roles. His reformist agenda and willingness to confront uncomfortable truths have endeared him to many, but they have also made him a target in a political landscape where dissent is often met with retaliation. But again, a careful look at history also reveals that although the Kano Emirate has been a symbol of stability and continuity in northern Nigeria, its repeated entanglement in political disputes, however, threatens to erode its authority and relevance. The blockade of the Emir's palace, whether or not it leads to Sanusi's removal, marks another chapter in the fraught relationship between tradition and politics in Nigeria. The crisis facing Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II is a microcosm of Nigeria's broader struggle to balance tradition and modernity. From the ouster of Muhammadu Sanusi I to the reforms of Abubakar Rimi and the machination of Governor Ganduje, the Kano Emirate has often found itself at the crossroads of change and continuity. Muhammadu Sanusi II's predicament is not just a personal trial, but a test of the resilience and adaptability of one of Nigeria's oldest institutions. As the drama continues to unfold, one thing is clear: history has a way of repeating itself, and Kano is no exception. Whether Sanusi II meets the same fate as his grandfather or manages to navigate this storm remains unclear. But for now, the people of Kano, and indeed Nigeria, watch with eagerness and knowing that the outcome will reverberate far beyond the walls of the Emir's palace. Thanks for watching, and if this is your first time on this channel, make sure to click on the subscribe and notification button for more of our video on Nigerian politics and the Nigerian economy.